For initial jungle pathing, do you? I'm not sure how much you can retain you watching the video once, but do you know the order you should start doing this in?
Uh, I'll usually start on. I try to figure out what the side of their jungler is, so I get a safer start on the opposite side.
Okay, you're
And so yeah,
skipping way too far ahead. What information do we need to gather before we make decisions?
uh, not too sure.
Now, one of what you said is right. Like where they start in their jungle.
Yeah.
What
So
is generally going to be the area that they start?
either depends on the blue. Well, I guess I would say like for them right now it'd be their blue buff.
You think they're going to start top?
They are. Is this the opposite side? Okay, so it's their red buff.
Yeah.
Usually it'd usually be like where their ADC would be because I'm just
Yes.
thinking if they want a faster clear.
Yes. That is generally where people are going to start. Is the bottom side of the jungle. What What other information do we need? You saw me draw it. Do you remember?
No, I missed it. What else do we need? I'm not too sure.
We have to evaluate the lanes, right? We have to have an idea of
Right.
where do we think each lane's going to be, and not where they're
They're
going to
probably
be
gonna
at any random time, right? We want to know where they're going to be at a
exactly.
specific time. What time do we
Right.
want to think about?
So they're gonna probably be in that bush above the red. Well, they should be there to protect their
No,
jungle.
no, I mean
Or
in the future. What does it matter for us? We need to know where the lanes are going to be when.
oh, oh, when I'm not too. I don't understand the question really.
When are we going to start interacting with the lanes?
1 minute and 30ish, or
Well, we're going to be
after
jungling,
red buff.
right?
So usually, yeah. So usually it's after like the red buff. After I take my red buff or blue buff, the second buff that I take.
Okay, and what time is that?
Uh, I'm gonna say like 3 minutes, 3:30.
Yeah, so a little bit shorter than that. So it's going to be
Okay.
normally around somewhere around 250.
Okay.
If you're depending on how well you're clearing, it might be a little bit slower until you understand and you get better at
Mhm.
kiting. So where do you believe each lane's going to be at 2 minutes and 50 seconds? Because that's when we're going to actually interact with them. So that's when we care about.
Uh, they're still gonna be in their lanes.
Yeah, but where is the lane going to be? Who's going to push?
It depends,
Yep, and you have to guess.
and I had to make sure there's an option for both.
Not really. I
Okay,
mean, when you get more advanced, you would be able to. We're going to keep it simple today.
then I don't understand. Please reiterate.
Where do you think top lane? Where do you think the middle of the lane? So where are the minions going to be at 2 minutes and 50 seconds? Do you think
It
it's
could
going to be
either be in
pushed
the.
towards
It'll probably be pushed towards.
Kled? That's what you think?
Yeah. Like, let me see. So it's against Kled.
Urgot versus Kled.
It's gonna be pushed in.
Towards Kled.
Um, wait. It's Kled. Okay, and it's Urgot. It should be. I wouldn't say Urgot would be pushing Kled in, but some reason I want to say Kled's being is gonna push Urgot in on
Well, you
this
got to
one.
pick one, man. Just
All right. So Kled's gonna push in near the tower. So I'm not gonna have a pathing to gank.
well, again, you don't
So
have to
let's
skip.
go.
You don't have to skip that far ahead. One step at a time. Middle.
All right.
Ari versus
In the
Akali.
middle. Let's just say in the middle.
Okay, I
Oh,
will
actually,
give
yeah,
you the
yeah.
note that it is very rarely going to be in the middle because
Okay, what is it?
somebody's going to hit level two, somebody's going
Right.
to push it into the tower, and then it's going to bounce. So it's very rarely in the middle for like more than a moment.
Okay.
Someone's normally pushing early game.
So do I get to choose again?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, it'll be pushed in.
Towards
Uh, towards the Kali.
and then bottom.
The enemy's gonna push towards us. So yeah,
So you
yeah,
Varus Yumi will
yeah.
push Draven Morgana.
Actually, no. It's Varus and Yumi. I forgot. I'm sorry. I should really look at the characters.
If
So
you're
yeah.
watching my screen, I have them open on the side over here.
Yeah. So Draven Morgana is gonna push into Yumi. Everybody's gonna be pushed in.
Okay. And so now we know where the lanes are. We can see in the future. We know where all the lanes are going to be. Now we have to decide which direction. Like, what do you think the Shyvana's going to do for the next few actions? So after she does the red buff, where is the most likely place for her to go?
she should go to wolves, and then I should either go
Well,
to
don't
well.
think. I don't even like that terminology. Don't
Mhm.
don't think about what she should do. Think about what people at your rank do.
Okay, all right. So wolves or whatever that camp is. What do you call that camp? The
There's
one on
Raptors.
yeah. So raptors, wolves, blue, gromp, and then scuttle is what I would think.
Okay. Now,
But in
before we,
reality, I'm gonna say in reality she didn't do that because
that's
I
fine.
actually
I don't
remember.
really care about reality right now.
Okay,
Because this is how you need to start all your games with your own theory, and then
right.
after you keep doing this kind of thing, and you keep predicting, and you keep evaluating, your theory become closer and closer to reality, right?
Uh-huh.
So, so long as you review. If you just do this and never review, you won't improve. You have to just make sure you're actually reviewing your thoughts. That's why the drill for this lesson is to literally do what I'm doing and draw your stuff out before the game starts. That way, after the
Okay.
game, you can see directly, and you have a lot of um, credibility or reliability. There's a different word for this, where you have something tangible to go look at to see what your thoughts were, instead of trying to think about what you were thinking about in the beginning, right?
Yep.
And then you review this compared to what actually happened in the game, and you do that for 100 games, and then you get pretty good at it.
Huh. All right.
So the one thing we need to evaluate first, though, is who wins in the jungle, you or Shyvana? If you guys fought
Uh,
in the river.
Shyvana.
Now, a little bit of a more advanced tip.
Well,
Do
actually,
you
I don't
think
have
she would
red
kill
bar. She might
you?
not have.
It, how long do you think this fight's gonna be short or long?
It's gonna be a short fight.
Okay, so I guess I should word it differently. Are your laners gonna be able to get here in time to influence the fight or not?
I would hope so. Yeah, I would think so.
Like basically, are you gonna get blown up in 1 second, or is it gonna take like 6 seconds?
I would think it would take 6 seconds.
Yeah. So the longer the fight is going to last, the more important your lane priority becomes. So even if you think you lose against Shyvana, if you don't think she kills you very quickly, the fact that you have priority in both top and mid lane gives you a lot of control in this area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's say you were playing a Mumu and they were playing Lee Sin, and you're gonna die in like half a second. Then your lane priority doesn't really matter, right?
Yep.
However, if it's Maokai Nunu jungle and it's gonna take forever for them to kill each other, then the lanes become way more important, right? Because they'll have time to come.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gives them more. Yeah, gives them a lot bigger chance to react.
Yeah. So if you think this fight is gonna last long enough that your teammates will come, then we actually beat Shyvana in this case,
Gotcha.
and we'll designate that with the check mark. Now we have to decide what path we want to do, and what path we want to do should be dependent on.
What I think their path is
Well,
now that
yes,
I'm thinking about it.
but also like what our objective is. And there's like a tier list of objectives. The best option is going to be to have a successful gank. Yo, thanks for subscribing. I thought it was 14 months. So the first job would be if you can have a successful counter gank. That would be the best case scenario because you both get to kill the enemy jungler and kill a laner and do it all at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, and then the second best thing is going to be to kill the enemy jungler. I'll give you notes for this after the lesson. The third best thing is going to be to have a successful gank or deny a gank.
Yeah.
And the fourth best thing is just going to be jungle efficiency in terms of just like ending up with more camps, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if you think about what we're watching here, what's the best one of those that we can do? So can we have a successful counter gank, you think?
Uh. Yeah. I think we could. So should I just? So if we were doing this from the beginning, I would just. If I already thought that I can have a successful fight at Scuttle, then what? Just path normally, just like him,
Well,
and then just meet at Scuttle. Is
I
that
do think
the
it's worth
easiest way?
mentioning that that's not a counter gank, that's killing the enemy jungler,
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
which is fine. I do think you could try to go for a counter gank, but because this is your prediction and you think they're going to do 5 actions in the jungle and the scuttle crab,
Yeah.
you'd have to wait so long for that, right? Because
Yeah.
you'd have to let her do all this and then go for the counter gank. Because if you instead fought the crab, then you're not going to get the counter gank.
And
Meaning,
is that less rewarding? You
yeah,
think?
for sure.
Okay. All right.
Because you're just letting her get too much out of a
Yeah.
situation where you think you beat her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so our goal here then is to maybe contest this crab, right? So once you figure out what your goal is out of those options, you have to think about how do you achieve that goal, right? AKA, what path should we do? Because you technically could do this, this, this. That'd probably be too fast.
Yeah.
You could
That's too
do
fast.
this. You can do this.
Medium at blue.
There, you can do a lot of different stuff, right?
Right.
And so, which option do you think is the best? The best?
Uh. Well, see, I would want the red buff if I knew I was gonna fight her, but then that's too fast. So I guess I have to go. I do blue wolves and red and head over.
All right. So
See
earlier
if
I
it's
talked
fair.
about actions, right?
Yeah. But then it wouldn't spawn in time though, because then you would have to take another camp before it spawns.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would have to take one more camp, and so I would have to take, yeah, I mean I would have to take the Krugs camp too before I meet him there. Or not that camp. That camp would kill me.
What you meant? The Raptors?
Yeah, yeah, the Raptors. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Raptors.
So that's what you're thinking, right?
Well, I would probably go Raptors red and then over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Raptors red then Scuttle.
All right. So as you alluded to, when you're thinking about these kind of path things, the main objective we're really thinking about. Well, we know our objective, right? Our objective is to kill the enemy jungler after Scuttle Crab.
Mhm.
But the main factor for determining our path, for now, until we get more advanced with this, is going to be: are we going to get here in time, right?
Mhm.
It's a lot about understanding how long things are going to take. And sometimes this is simple, where your jungle and their jungler have very similar clear speeds, right?
Yep.
However, sometimes, like in this situation, the enemy jungler has a different clear speed time than you, right?
I would think it'd be faster. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So you have to basically compare the speed of your clear to theirs, and then decide how many actions you're gonna do before you go to this crab, right? So in this
Yep.
case, you're doing one less action than she is.
Gotcha.
Especially
Cause.
because some camps take, like again, the Krugs take longer than a normal camp, right?
Mhm.
So you have to, and then for example, if we did, I'll show it like this. If we did 1, 2, 3, 4, then crab, going to the Krugs and going a little bit further across the map, it's significantly longer than doing what we just talked about, right?
Yeah.
Also, if she was gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, even though you couldn't do that, but just for theory, so you can
What if
understand.
what if I'm confident that I can get all those in the same time, if not quicker? Then I should just do all my full clear, right? Or that clear that we have up there and meet her there.
Yeah, because you don't want to waste time just sitting there, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cause yeah,
You just
I
don't want
really
to
don't want to
be
waste
too
10
late.
seconds. Yeah, or you're right, right. Okay.
So long as you're gonna get there in time to actually do your job, you would want to do as much as you can. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But what I was saying was that it's important to note whether people are crossing the map because that's going to take time to travel that distance, right? Like if they were going to, if
Mhm.
you thought she was going to do this, then run over, the fact that she had to run this extra of a distance, like back this direction and then back this direction, is pretty important. Like that's probably like 7 something seconds added to her clear.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not just about how many actions each player's doing, but it's about the clear speed of each champion and which specific camps are they doing and how far they're going to run, right?
Yeah.
So it's not as simple as it seems in the beginning, but generally, with most matchups, most champions' actions in the jungle are quite similar, like in terms of how long it
Right.
takes them. There's a few outliers like Sharana. Okay, so if we look at our predictions based on the game, I think this is a fine path where even though we're doing one less action, uh, she's faster at jungling. I'm not exactly sure how much quicker at jungling she is, but we definitely don't want to be late. And in this case, we can like maybe wait in the bush. Like let's say we're gonna only gonna be like a couple of seconds early or something. That's fine because then we can wait in the bush for her, right?
Uh,
If you play this
well,
game and you end up getting there like really early, then next time you might add the grump, right?
yeah, but everything changes if like she shows herself like right away, right?
Yep,
Like some reason I saw her.
yep.
Okay,
But the way you would solve that issue would be to do this drill again in the middle of the game.
okay,
In the beginning, I'm trying to teach you how to do it just this one time where you have a lot of time to think.
okay.
And
I
as you
got
get
you.
good at this, we eventually start working on doing this in the middle of a game based on new information, which is what I
You're
did
not,
in that lesson with
you're
that
not,
guy.
you're not like pulling up this rift kit like right before the minute and 30 and doing your little. No, right? I'm. You're not doing that.
No, but I
Just
am doing
focusing.
it.
Okay.
I'm doing it in champ
I mean, in
select.
your games. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's when you're doing it.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I mean, as soon as you know the lane matchup, you can draw that, right?
Okay, okay, okay.
And then you have loading screen, and you have a minute and 30 seconds before the buff spawns. And you
Gotcha.
better be able to do it in that time because if you do your first action and then you tell that the other side leashed, then you need to be able to do that drill again within like somewhere around 10 to 15 seconds. You need to be able to do the drill again. So if you
Gotcha.
can't do it in a minute and a half, you're gonna have some trouble. Although it's
All right.
fine in the beginning, obviously, where you're first learning this, but
Yeah.
the objective is to get really, really good at this and really well, really fast at it. Really,
Okay.
and ideally good at it too. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay, let's go ahead and watch the game.
I think this game was a shit show. It's funny. All right, I did. All right, so I saw that they weren't in this bush, so I was like, I'm gonna wait around a little bit, get some extra time on my ward. That's why I did that.
Yeah. Now, generally, I don't think you should ever ward early game, like
Okay.
level one. Oh, not ever, but for
Chances of
you.
dying.
No, I just don't think the ward's necessary.
Okay.
Like you're gonna be able to tell where she started by the leash, right? And then
Yeah.
you're gonna be able to tell what the most logical. Like that's the whole point of the prediction, is to know where she's gonna be. So the more confident you get with your predictions, the 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 more useless this ward becomes. And I like having my ward, and I really don't like that everyone that I watch places the ward and then switches to sweeper, even though it doesn't make any sense. But because other people do it, it's my
That's
trigger.
exact. That's exactly why I do
I
it.
know, I know.
'Cause everybody else did it.
It's my trigger. I hate everyone I coach as a jungler. Like, you guys do so many things that's just like a copy of other people, and it doesn't actually make sense in your guys' context, but you don't know that.
But those past couple games, I noticed in my divisions, like, man, I need those wards because nobody's warding anymore.
That ward would still be very useful later. I bet you I can show you an example how you could have used that ward later. Or anyway, you're struggling. If you watched that video against where with the other guy, and so you probably already saw that I
I didn't
flamed.
queue right away.
I
Yeah.
know, I know that he didn't kite the camp,
Oh,
and he instead just stood here taking damage, just like you are. And
okay.
so you should have been hit one time by now, and you're about to get hit for a third time.
All right.
Yeah, so
I wanted health.
no, you could have literally done the same amount of damage, but taken three less hits.
Okay.
You'd be nearly full HP right now had you kited this camp correctly.
Yeah. If I did that correctly, then I wouldn't have to do this thing that I'm doing.
Yeah. Now, just to go back so we can understand, even if we didn't have the ward, right?
Mhm.
Just stare at the map right now. Urgot walked in the lane immediately.
Yep. And
That's evidence that
Winston
he obviously didn't leash top, right?
yeah,
And then
bottom
bot
was
lane
missing.
is gone, right?
Mhm.
And they come late. So we have a very, again, at higher ranks, sometimes people fake, but normally they don't fake their mana usage.
Mhm. Okay. And
And
yep,
but
gotcha.
for you guys, like 99% of the time, if one laner goes to lane immediately and the other one doesn't, that's probably where they got leashed. You know what I mean? In which
Yep.
case,
Yep.
this ward top immediately becomes useless because now I already know she started bottom. I know, right?
Hmm.
Right? So I could have a ward over you. Now I'll show you how that becomes relevant later.
Okay.
Okay, this is
I
weird.
don't know why I did that.
I'm just
Like,
wondering where you're going.
me too. I think I was gonna go for.
They're under
I wanted to
tower.
pull a flash. Yeah.
Okay, here's a good general note for you. Don't ever go for a gank unless you're gonna kill them.
Hmm.
I don't care if you're getting
Well.
their flash. Don't gank
Okay.
unless they're going to die.
All right.
So if I see you go for a gank, what that means to me is you thought that you were going to kill them. I'm going to evaluate your gank whether, depending on how true that is. Okay.
Hmm.
Now not this game obviously because you weren't thinking like this, but now from now on, if I watch your game and you go for a gank, I it better be because you think you're going to kill them for sure. Like they're dead. They're a dead
All
person.
right.
Or you're rotating. That's
Not
something
even a flash. Well, what happens if I really do need to blow their summoners
you
before I
don't.
go
You
back?
never need to blow their summoners.
Okay.
It's never like a thing. Like maybe again when you watch challenger players that might make sense. When you watch pro play that might make sense.
Okay.
In silver, doesn't make any sense. Who cares?
Okay.
There's a, there's a lot of like opportunity costs and information you're giving away. Look at that summoner. Now, let's say your intention, like let's say this was pushed up to like here, right? And you
Yeah.
needed to go top. You can transition gank because you're not your intention isn't really for this gank to work. You're just trying to get top, right?
Yep. Yep.
So
Hmm.
transition ganks are fine.
Hmm.
Going for ganks just generally, it's bad. Okay, so we can obviously tell this path here that actually transpired didn't
Didn't happen.
didn't really make sense. It didn't because you
I
did
didn't do that.
well. I almost drew the wrong path. Yeah, you did one, two, three. Walk down to a push lane, and then
I
this
think.
lane was pushed. So you went to like if you just look at our predictions, right? Based on your own predictions, being on the bottom side is literally useless. Both the lanes are pushed, and there's only one camp to steal,
You know
right?
what I was thinking? You know what I
Oops.
was thinking? I think it happened. Like it successfully worked the previous game. So I was like, hey, why don't I head down there again? And I didn't even check the map while I was doing it. I was just doing it to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you get coaching, right? Because everyone's
Yeah.
doing what you're doing, and you
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
to stop. You need to start using your brain and playing the game.
Right. Right. Right.
Because again, even based on your own predictions, going bottom doesn't make any sense. There's nothing to do.
Right.
Um, so yeah, we're just on the wrong side completely. We wasted a bunch of time. We now showed ourselves middle without getting a successful kill. So we gave up a lot of information.
Yep.
Also, I do want to show that all your predictions are correct, right? If you look at the map at 250,
Oh. Okay.
they're all pushed. Okay, so if we believe that Shyvana's on the top side and we see that our Kled is pushed, assuming, well, first of
You would
all,
counter gank.
well, if you think you can counter gank, yeah.
Right.
But at the very least, you would ping and warn your top laner, right? And probably your
Hmm.
mid laner too.
I wonder if I did.
No, you should have already done it if
Okay.
so.
Okay. Okay.
Now, you can just do a danger ping on both sides of the map, that's fine. But you'll find that my advice, and if I stream gameplay, it's almost always a ping exactly what you're trying to explain. Like make it very clear. So I might
Gotcha.
ping Shyvana is alive, then ping where she is, and then ping danger.
Gotcha.
I normally do like a three ping method where I ping like on the champion I want to identify and then what I want from them. So if I
Gotcha.
was going top and I wanted a colleague to come with me, I would ping colleague or sorry, I wanted Ari to come with me. I ping Ari's alive on my way top, assist and stop.
Hmm.
Or if I was going for bot or gank bottom, I would ping Kled is alive, Kled's teleport is available, assists bottom.
Gotcha.
So like that three ping method I find to be really effective. And it makes it when you watch your own replays or when you have someone else watch your own replays, it gives you man, I wish I could remember the term. It gives you like something very specific to look back on to know exactly what you were thinking about. Because generally, when people don't write that kind of stuff down or have some kind of way of showing, they'll just make stuff up and just try to remember what happened. But most people can't remember back what happened 10 seconds ago in League, let alone 20
Yeah.
minutes ago. You do a ping eventually, but they very easily could have been ganked by now. So it's the late gank or late ping. All right,
Okay.
so you end up running around again on the bottom side to get the
I,
crab.
I, yeah, I saw him took the scuttle, so I was like, oh, I better get the other scuttle. Or I was gonna die.
Well, I think this is a good example of like understanding actions, right? Because look at what we've done. So this is what we did this game, right? 1, 2, 3, 4,
Five,
5,
six.
6. Oh, this isn't
I
here.
don't have
7.
scuttle. Yeah.
Then run around. Then
Went to
this.
big cross instead. Yeah.
No, what I'm trying to get you to see is the actions slash distance traveled. Remember we talked about time?
Mhm.
So we've done 5 complete camps, and we've run all the way across the map twice. And we checked for the scuttle crab, right?
Mhm.
And so if we spent this much time doing camps, that means they've done spent that much time doing camps. Meaning she literally, and well, I guess for now you actually do know that she must have been top afterwards for her to get this crab, right? So
Yep.
I mean, I can just start drawing like a million different orders. Let's just start with our prediction order. Now, so that's her doing 6 actions, right?
That's
And we've done
yeah.
6. We've done easily 6 because we had to run across the map and stuff.
She took
And
advantage of
she's
my
faster.
my going. Yeah, she took advantage of me going bottom. That's how she got that scuttle.
Well,
I'm thinking.
well, what I'm trying to show you is like if you did 1, 2, 3, that means she probably did 3 things, right? Especially because she's the faster jungler.
All right.
To 1, 2, 3, and then we ran all the way across the middle and then ran over here. That's going to take at least 1 action. So now she's done this, and that's assuming we're the same, but we're not. But even if we were the same, when you do this, that means she's done this. But because she's faster, she's done this, and so whenever you're running down, if she didn't gank your top, which you pinned, and she didn't gank, so that means the only other place she could be is backing or bottom, right?
Yeah. So that's why I thought. Yeah.
And you're at this point, your mid laner's not here. And this goes into what I talked about a lot in that video is that you gave zero respect as to whether Shyvana would be here. Like you're not even thinking about where she would be.
Yeah. And then.
Like you thought of one location. You thought maybe she's top, right? Like if we press play,
Mhm.
this ping's top. So you think, okay, maybe she's top.
I
But
did,
maybe,
huh?
but I
Yeah.
think maybe,
Then I had to get the scuttle too. If she's either there or I got to get the other scuttle to even it out. That's what I'm pretty sure I was thinking.
okay. Now I guess before I move forward, I want to address that. The scuttle doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
The scuttle scales up for experience and gold. It's not actually necessary. It's not more important than any other camp. Neither is your buffs, by the way. All your camps are in the beginning of the game, they're all even. As the game goes on, the Krugs and the Gromp start, or not the Gromp, the Krugs and the Crab start becoming more and more.
Okay.
But if you play the game with the notion that any of the camps are more important than other camps in the very beginning, you're gonna make mistakes.
All right.
Okay. Now, what I'm trying to say is that if you track your jungle, or you track your actions and you have a prediction on actions, by the time you were coming down here, you would know that there's only 2 places Shyvana could be: down here
Mhm.
or ganking top.
Yeah.
In which case, you would give some credence to the fact that she could be bottom. And if you think she's bottom and you think you would lose a fight if she was bottom, then either you don't go here or you call for Morgana to come up, right?
Right.
Instead, if you don't think like that and you just kind of try to force something, then you
I
have to flash.
wasted the summons. Yeah.
And so it's just about if you track them in jungle, and you have that information, and you at least consider that possibility, then you can play around it, right? But if you don't even think of it as a possibility, then you're just doomed. You're gonna be doomed to make a mistake, and you're gonna be doomed to repeat your mistakes. It's all about information gathering.
Mhm.
So
I think I saw a Kali, and I was like, well, I better run.
yeah, that's fine. I just want to talk about like pathing. So like what you're gonna do, because yeah. is that in the beginning of your games, you're going to predict. Again, I'll write you some notes. But in the beginning of the game, you're going to predict all the lanes, predict where your enemy jungler is going to start, where they're going to go, and then how you're going to beat them, either directly or indirectly.
Right.
Then you're going and you're going to draw that, right? So you're going to draw like
Uh-huh.
however way you're going to beat them. Then after the game, you're going to bring up another window. If you're on Windows, you can just do this. And you're going to draw what actually happened on the right side, okay?
All right.
Every game. So on the right side, you're going to draw what actually happened. And this is what I'm going to use in our next lesson to kind of review and see how well you're doing. You're going to draw what actually happens. You're going to draw everything, like where the lanes are, what did they end up actually doing, which might be something like this. And if you ended up fighting and they started winning, then or they won, then you would say they were actually the hunter. That's what this is called, hunter versus hunted. The check mark
Oh.
is the hunter, and but that can change based on who's winning in the game. I talk about that in that video as well. And then, so you draw what actually happened, and if there's a difference between what your predictions was and what actually happened, you write down why, like this. So top, let's say you're wrong about top, you would go back, and if you didn't know why, you go look at it, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, let's say, who is it in this game? So let's imagine Ur got pushed, and then we go look at top, and we rewatch the game real fast. Like again, like the first like minute, it's not gonna take you very long. Especially because you can watch in like 2 times, 3 or 4 times speed, and you see that because Urgot can spam Q, he makes Kled afraid and Kled got back. That's not true, but just as an example,
Gotcha.
Urgot Q
It's abusive. I gotcha.
scares Kled basically.
Yeah.
And then you write that, and then you do this every game, and then you start learning matchup. You start learning logical places to predict where lanes are going to be. You start learning logical pathings from your opponent, and it becomes pattern recognition. And once you get really good at identifying what they're going to do, then all you have to do and work on, and that is why I mainly focus on this part where I'm coaching, is how well can you use information to create the best path. Because I know you'll get good at this if you just do the drill. You'll get good at all the prediction stuff. Because pattern recognition will carry you, right?
Uh-huh.
But whether you get good at actually using that information is going to be based on how well you review your games and my coaching.
Understood.
But this is the kind of like the step I would take for actually being a jungler is using your brain, evaluating, so you don't play like this game where you do a path in the beginning that didn't actually make any sense, even based on your own predictions, and then check the crab. Like for that crab to still be there, she would have to be AFK. So I'm not even sure why you would check that crab, the top crab. Because what else would she be doing? Like how would that crab be
I
there?
was, it was silver. It's a silver game. You just never know. You just never know these things. You kind of just have to check when it comes to silver games. Or that
So
was that's my thinking of it.
yeah, I hear you. And then when you went to the bottom side, you have to give uh, the respect to the Shyvana that she could be there based on the fact that she's a faster jungler than you, and the fact that you know she already did the top side crap, right?
Yeah, and some reason I just wanted to see. I mean, I knew she
And you had
would,
no.
so I wanted,
The main thing was that really that your mid laner bad, so you didn't have priority anymore.
and I was like a third health. I was like, I mean, I'm gonna lose. You know, I would
Yeah,
lose that fight, regardless.
yeah. Like you having to use flash. What I consider using flash means you died. If you had to use
It
your
doesn't.
fast defensively, that you died.
So if I knew all those things, I just go to golems, get the golems in B, and buy my items and reset.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, all right, because that looks like my only option at that point. Gotcha.
Yeah, pretty much. Besides doing something advanced.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is like the basics of what you have to start working on. And I know it's a lot, but you'll have a VoD and I'll send you some notes, okay?
All right. Yeah.
Alright, that's pretty much it.